Sometimes when I respond to a video, the video stays on topic and I can spend a lot of time responding in detail to their claims. Then there are other times where they just scattershot all over the place and I really only get to spend a few seconds pointing out their stupidity before they move on to something else. This video falls into the latter category as I don't know what to call her, but whatever she is, she just dances around a bunch of subjects, desperately wishing that people would stop talking about things that offend her. Can we not? No, we cannot. And apparently she cannot. Makes sense, anyhow.
So I've been watching a lot of things happen on the internet this week, and my overall reaction to most of them has been, can we not?
Yeah, that's exactly what I think when I watch feminist and other aggressive videos. Can we not? Or more properly, can you not, make sense of any kind? Because you don't.
Can we just not? Can we not body shame and slut shame people? I'm looking at the Zoella thing that popped up this week, and I'm wondering, why is this even news?
Well, I don't know. Why do feminists and aggressives get upset at pretty much anything online or on TV or in print or, let's be honest, everywhere? Why do they freak out when they hear or see things they don't like? Could you explain that to me, please?
Why is this an image that's upsetting to anybody? Just because we watch someone on YouTube doesn't mean that we have the right to tell them what to do with their body or how to feel about their body.
You can't tell anyone anything. You certainly can't force anyone to think or feel or do anything that they don't want to do. You can, however, express your opinion. It's called freedom of speech, and it's a fundamental right that people enjoy in the West. Nobody says you have to listen, and of course, you certainly don't have to agree or comply, but you certainly can't stop people from expressing themselves unless you're a complete chicken shit and shut down comments. Even then, you can't stop someone from taking your video, like I'm doing, and responding to it in their own channel.
I don't know who's offended by this image. I don't know why any of you were commenting about how disappointed you were, about how shameful it is, or somehow connecting how people reveal their bodies to the kind of sex they have, the kind of person they are, the kind of role model they are. Bodies themselves aren't inherently sexual, so stop.
You're welcome to do whatever you want to do with your body within the confines of the law. And I'm welcome to respond to it however I choose to respond. I won't force you to stop. You can't force me to shut up. It's quite elegant in its simplicity. But just because you don't like my opinion doesn't stop my opinion from existing. It doesn't make your opinion automatically right. And this is where rational, intellectual discussion takes place between two people who have two different views. That's not what happens when one side tells the other side to shut up.
You show more skin at the beach, in public, with people watching. It's okay. It's okay. Can we stop shaming STDs? I saw a major YouTuber this week telling a story about thinking that they had an STD and then finding out they didn't. And within the realm of this story, while kind of conveying how relieved they were, they managed to basically paint anyone who has STDs as trash or as dirty or as disgusting. Newsflash, STDs are not something that dirty people have.
No. First off, having an STD can, not always, but can, be a sign of someone with questionable character. The STD fairy didn't just come along and wave her magic wand and give you a venereal disease. It happens because you engaged in sexual activity with someone who was infected. Now, yeah, maybe you didn't know that whoever you slept with had a disease, maybe they kept it from you, maybe you got raped and got infected that way, maybe you did know and still willingly engaged with sex with said individual. There's lots of reasons why you might get infected that are not necessarily automatically bad. However, there are lots of reasons that are, at least in my opinion. While not everyone who has an STD is a horrible, awful, dirty person, those who engage in random, unprotected, uncommitted sex certainly fit into that category, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Anyone can get one at any time. Does not make you a bad person, does not make you a disgusting person, does not make you an unlovable person, and it bugs me that there are people who have a platform that don't realize that when they're sitting there being like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not disgusting, that they are speaking to an audience of people who statistically have STIs.
Well, no, actually. You know who doesn't have STIs? Those who engage in consensual monogamous sex within a committed relationship with people who have few, if any, other sexual partners. You are never, ever, ever going to get an STD via sexual transmission if you never sleep with anyone else who's ever had an STD.
Most, if not all of us, are either going to have an STI or have one. So I just don't understand why we are perpetuating this shame and this stigma so that people are afraid to tell their partners. People are too scared to seek out medical professionals and assume that if they get an STI that they'll never be loved and that they're not worthy of anything.
Funny. I've never had one, nor has anyone I've ever known. I wonder how we all got to be so lucky. Oh, wait. That's right. We live responsible lives. That's how. Now, sure, you can get things through blood transfusions, and that's why they filter for things like that. But pretty much, if you live a responsible, respectful life around others who do the same thing, you're never going to catch anything sexually.
Speaking about YouTube videos and shame, I saw a video by someone I follow this week that was really disheartening. Okay, excuse me. Can we stop mislabeling what sex work is and then also bringing more shame and stigma to that? Someone that I know was talking about dating someone and then finding out that they posted nude photos on Tumblr. And the whole title was like dating a porn star or something porn star. That's not porn.
Well, it's only not porn if you expect to be paid for it. The definition of pornography is printed or visual material containing the explicit description or display of sexual organs or activity intended to stimulate erotic rather than aesthetic or emotional feelings. Now, sure, we could talk about what their intent might have been, but the fact is, if you're posting these things in public for public consumption and not privately for an individual, then you're pretty much engaged in pornography. Unless, as I said, it has artistic merit, and that's kind of a gray area, and let's be honest, Tumblr isn't exactly an art gallery now, is it?
Number one. Number two, by all other accounts, this person sounded like an awesome dude that was attracted to this person, who was doing what people who are attracted to other people do, which is try to hang out with them. And probably, if you're an adult, at some point consensually touch each other naked. And these photos were enough for the narrator to be so disgusted and so kind of caught off guard by who this person is that it was just over.
No. See, there's a difference between taking some consensual pictures, either of yourself or of you and your partner together, for personal and private consumption, and something like Pornhub. It's like celebrities that have someone hack into their private servers and expose their personal sex photos to the world. These celebrities are not involved in pornography. They did not intend this for public release. But if they were posting it on a public site intended for others to see, they certainly would be. Now, I'm not saying porn is a bad thing. I'm just saying that it is a thing, and it has a definition, and either you're doing it or you're not. Words have meanings for a reason.
If you don't want to date someone who does porn, or you don't want to date someone who takes naked photos, or you don't want to date someone who reveals their body in a kind of way, that's all on you.
People are entitled to hold their own opinions, whether you agree with it or not. You don't have to like their opinions, but to vilify them for having opinions you disagree with without being able to justify their vilification, that's just a dick move.
Maybe that's an opportunity to confront what makes you uncomfortable, and in the meantime not talk down about what people do with their bodies and equate that to them being horrible people. Because I personally know that whoever I'm dating is going to have to deal with the fact that mama posts butt photos on the internet and feels really good about them. And that confidence is something that I bring to a relationship and to a sex life, which benefits you. But if someone made a storytime video about me and was like, yeah, this girl was great, awesome, then I found out she posted butt photos on the internet and oh, it's so disgusting, I'm so glad I avoided this broken person, that would be a problem.
Not for you maybe, but for a lot of other people, yes. Because of that, I would be entirely disinterested in being in a relationship with you. Actions have consequences.
Maybe there's something more to revealing your body, how and when you choose, photographing it the way that you want, feeling comfortable in your skin in a world that tells you that it shouldn't feel comfortable.
Because, as I just said, actions have consequences. If an actor or a musician or a comedian or a political figure, if they do something the public doesn't like, the public has every right to turn on them and not buy their music or see their movies or go to their shows or vote for them. This is a consequence of being in the public eye. It's a larger version of personal preference. If someone I know does something I find reprehensible, I have every right not to be around that person anymore. If someone I know does something I find reprehensible, I have every right not to support that person anymore. I don't know why you find this so difficult to understand.
Can we stop taking mental health and suicide so lightly? I was really disappointed in the internet the past 2 days because everyone's just going in on Kehlani for this supposed cheating on a boyfriend, who cares? If you guys knew half the shit that artists do, you probably wouldn't listen to anyone. And you wanna know why? Because they're people, and people do things, and people hurt other people, and people are hurt. That's how this thing works. So I don't understand why we listen and we consume the content and the music that we do, and then we turn on the people that make it when they're really going through it. I was really bothered by some of the jokes and some of the things that are going on Twitter and Instagram surrounding Kehlani's attempted suicide. I think she's like such a talented singer-songwriter. It's just very weird to me that people are using their time and their social media and their influence to take cheap shots at someone who deals with depression. I feel like you're the same people who mourned Robin Williams but then want to go in on some 20-year-old girl who has dealt with we don't know, who's going through we don't know.
See, I don't really care if any of these people die. Did I mourn Robin Williams? No, not a bit. If a celebrity that I don't know dies, I might pause for a second and say, well, that's a shame, and then I get on with my life. It's different if I'm actually friends with them, then I care, but not because they're a celebrity, but because they're a friend.
Everyone on the internet's a doctor, everyone on the internet is a mental health professional. Most people on the internet are assholes. That's what I've discovered on Instagram and Twitter.
And YouTube. There are tons of assholes on YouTube. Now mostly, at least from my perspective, they come from the political left, but yeah, they do come from all walks of life. And most of these assholes are assholes because they think everybody needs to agree with them. Not because they've made a rational, evidence-based case for their position, but because they really want you to, and if you don't agree, they call you names and insult you because you're a mean, bad person for daring to disagree.
You know, there's a lot of things in this world that I just wish we wouldn't.
Same here. But instead of sitting on YouTube wishing, I actually try to convince people to change their ways through critical thinking, logic, reason, and intellectual argumentation. That's something you haven't done in this video at all. Maybe you ought to give that one a shot. I know I say this a lot, but people who clearly react out of emotion and not out of intellect, these people have issues. Sure, there's a time and a place for emotion, but it's not all the time and every place. Those who only react and don't think, those people cause most of their own problems and then tend to get upset because other people point out these problems, and that hurts their precious widow feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your emotional well-being. I care about facts. I care about reality. I don't care how reality affects you. I care how you deal with reality. And so many of these people just don't. Their entire ideology is based around how much they really want reality to be different so that they can feel better, and that's just not the way that it works. Part of the basic maturation process is learning how to deal with reality as it actually is, not as you wish it was. Can these people not grow up? Apparently not.